Miss Evelyn's Customer Book. Miss Evelyn remembered everyone. That was her gift. At Murphy's Diner, she knew who liked extra onions, who hated pickles, who paid cash, who was going through a divorce, and who needed free coffee but was too proud to ask. People joked that she knew Ashwood better than the police. Officer Briggs once said, "She knows things before they become evidence." One winter night, I found out that wasn't a joke. I was working the counter because Miss Evelyn's regular dishwasher had called off. Around 11:40 p.m., a man came in wearing a brown coat and old work boots. He sat in booth 6. Miss Evelyn stopped wiping the counter. Her face went still. The man didn't look dangerous. He looked tired. He ordered black coffee and meatloaf. Miss Evelyn wrote it down without asking. After he left, I said, "Regular?" She didn't answer. She went to the back office and unlocked a drawer. Inside was a thick blue notebook. On the cover, written in marker, were the words, "Do not serve twice." She flipped to a page near the middle. There was the man's name. Calvin Reed. Order: black coffee, meatloaf, no gravy. Last served February 3rd, 1998. I laughed nervously. That has to be a different guy. Miss Evelyn looked at me and said, "Calvin Reed died before I opened this diner." Then the coffee cup in booth 6 cracked by itself. The next morning, Officer Briggs came by. Miss Evelyn showed him the book. He didn't seem surprised. Apparently, over the years, certain customers had walked into Murphy's who shouldn't have been alive. Missing people, dead people, people connected to unsolved cases. They always ordered the same meal they ordered before disappearing. They always paid exact change. And they never came twice. Except Calvin Reed. His name had appeared in the book 2 times. Once in 1998, once last night. That had never happened before. Briggs reopened Calvin's case. Calvin had been a factory worker who vanished after reporting something strange behind the old rail yard. His car was found running. His lunchbox was on the passenger seat. No sign of Calvin, no body, no suspects. That night, Miss Evelyn told me to stay away from booth 6. Of course, I didn't. When she went to the kitchen, I checked under the table. There was fresh writing carved into the wood. Ask about the tunnel. I showed Briggs. He searched old city maps and found something strange. A sealed maintenance tunnel connected the old rail yard to the basement under Murphy's Diner. Miss Evelyn swore she never knew. The basement door had been blocked by shelves for years. We moved them. Behind the shelves was a metal door. No handle, just a slot. Miss Evelyn reached into her apron and pulled out a nickel. The same nickel Calvin had used to pay for coffee. She slid it into the slot. The door unlocked. Behind it was a stairwell. Cold air rose from below. Briggs went first. We followed. The tunnel smelled like rust and rainwater. On the wall were dozens of names scratched into the concrete. Some I recognized from old missing posters. At the very end of the tunnel was a chair. On the chair sat a lunchbox. Calvin Reed's lunchbox. Inside was a folded napkin from Murphy's Diner. But the diner hadn't existed when Calvin disappeared. Written on the napkin were the words, "Evelyn, don't serve the man in the gray hat." We heard footsteps above us. Back inside the diner, Booth 6 was occupied again. Not by Calvin, by a man in a gray hat. Miss Evelyn dropped the coffee pot. The man smiled and said, "I believe you have my book." Then every light in Murphy's diner went out.
If you made it this far, you already know that was crazy. Subscribe for more.